Okay, so what are we doing?
We should do. We've already started talking about appearances. Might as well.
So
just
just
go.
Yeah, let's just
straight
go
in.
with that. Okay, I'm
Is
gonna
it
set a
recording?
time. Yeah, I'm gonna set a timer.
Have we started this yet?
Yes, we have.
Okay. Well, so appearances. We focused a lot on the book. Okay. The book focused a lot on hair.
Yes.
Even like, I think the cover, I think we all agreed that this is supposed to be braids.
Yeah. It looks like braids with
Now that I read the book, I think it's braids.
Yeah.
With like
I thought it was rope
color.
at the beginning, but now I get it.
color.
It could be rope too. It represents how they feel tied up in there.
You could take
Image.
Honestly, but they could be
Okay,
tied up with their
symbolism.
own braids. So that's
Hey.
going the step.
You could take it either way.
Highlight.
It could be either.
So we want to start off with hair because that's basically, yeah.
Yeah.
I related, because I was talking in our last one how like there was just a moment, not even a moment, but like last year where I was just like, why do I even care why I'm straightening my hair for these people who probably don't even remember
Or don't
my
care.
shoes, like, yeah, they don't care. So I really related to her like whoa moment where she was like, I just woke up one morning and like started loving my hair because like it's a while, but then you just realize like what's wrong with it? There's nothing wrong with you.
I've struggled with this a lot. One, because I'm mixed, and we're not entirely sure with what. There's this very white side, and there's something else in there. But my hair is a lot more ethnic than my mother's, and it goes. I mean, there's a lot of categories where you go from like 3A, 4C, there's a lot. But I remember people have said underhanded things so many times. Hey, there's this friend, like I said, similar to me, but I won't say her name.
Yeah.
But I remember in first grade, she was like, it was like the second time someone had straightened my hair. She says, you know what? I like you better
Yes.
with your hair straight.
Like when people will say these things, like and they think they're just giving you a compliment. But in reality, you're like, oh my gosh. As a kid, I feel like when you're a kid, people are so naive to what they say and how it affects. Because I can remember every single racist thing that has ever been said to me, and the bulk of it is children not understanding what they're saying is hurtful. Like I remember one friend who I'm still friends with, and I'm sure if I told them that they probably don't even remember, but I do. Yeah. If I told them they said this, they would like start crying an apology, but I'm never gonna do that. But I remember we were playing once, and it was like princesses or something. And it's always princesses. But they once, and I was like, I want to play the princess this time. And they were like, you can't because I'm prettier because I have blonde hair. And I remember being like,
Whoa.
no. And it's because I feel like people with color, or even people who are like generally not the most, who are in the minority, constantly are more sensitive to those things because they've experienced it more. Right. I remember being like, oh, okay.
Right. Well, and then on the princess thing, Disney. I've done some research into, especially with the old cartoon movies. They don't really whitewash. They just use a lot of stories from very white areas of the world. And there was only
because
two
that's what people would watch.
Exactly.
I don't think anyone would really watch. Like at that time, would anyone have gone to watch an African American princess who was working a waitress job
in New Orleans? Yeah. Well, and see, because the only princesses I couldn't honestly even now feel comfortably like dressing up as are Jasmine and possibly Tiana. Like I got two options.
Me too. I've got like people are like, oh, you could be Pocahontas, and like I'm not Native American, but
exactly.
Yeah.
Right. But I appreciate now because I have a little sibling. So on Disney Junior, they have the first Latina princess.
Yes, when Dawn picked Stephanie
I
Diggs
know.
at Disney Junior.
And then,
I obviously was too old for it, but I was like, oh my gosh, because like she has natural hair in braids, and I was like, and she wants to be a doctor, and it was so refreshing. I
don't know if you know, but they're going to release a show. Last I checked, with this Indian.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Was that what it was?
I think it was a PI or something, like a private detective.
Yeah, it's like Doc McStuffins except not.
I'm so happy now.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Thank you, Disney.
Yeah, but back
you're the
to
real
hair.
MVP. Anyway.
Back then, no one would watch any of that.
Yeah,
Because it was like, why?
And also,
Because America can't relate to this, even though there are so many people who can. But those people have been forced to conform, and I know that person. Okay.
And then also, they gave Princess Tiana, they gave her straight hair. Which
They did. Oh.
they did. Yeah,
They
she
did.
has straight hair. Which honestly, it could happen, but both of her parents were African American in the movie, which it's very unrealistic for that to be. I think because, I mean, with that ethnicity, I mean, there's a kinky hair associated with it. And I get so fed up because I can never find anything for my hair. Like, you look up on YouTube, tutorials for curly hair, and there's always this white chick who's like, my hair's so curly. This is the wand I use. It's so natural.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
like they have like this curly hair. Like my hair is actually way more curly than this, but like it's like this is my curly hair. Look how curly it is. It's so hard to maintain.
I can't even relate to that because my hair is like, I don't even know where it comes
I've
from.
had to do a ton of research, and because my mom's hair is a little bit different. She hasn't had the issues I've had. Mine's very sensitive, and like I said, I've straightened it for every day for a whole year, I think.
Yeah.
And like I said in the last video, I have bald spots, and that still haven't grown back. And last year I went to get my hair cut, and the hairdresser was like, "Oh, honey, you're gonna have to cut at least this much off because it's basically all dead."
Yeah.
And I've had to do a lot of research and everything to figure out what I need to do, and I'm having to sleep with a silk scarf now. I'm having to experience and experiment with a lot of things, but and I've looked into protective styling because, like I said, my hair is very sensitive, but I would not feel comfortable getting braids or something because of the school we go to. I couldn't do it. It wouldn't end well for me at all, especially since I don't have an answer. Exactly.
Braids. And I mean, I can't relate to that, but I notice
Right.
there is that.
And honestly, I think they're beautiful, but and especially since I don't have an answer to what actual ethnicity and race I am, we can guess, but we don't, like I said, we don't know. I don't have an answer for people when they go to ask questions. So, therefore, a long time, it was better to just straighten it, not deal with it, like, it's straight, it looks like crap because it's burnt and everything, because I have to use it at like 450 degrees to get mine to straighten at all, which is probably why it fell out, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, it's been a long journey. We're still getting there.
Yeah.
And most like ethnic like stereotypes, I guess, are based on hair. Like African American always have to have like the kinky or like super relaxed and straightened hair, and then like Jewish, like it's either red or dark. Like there's no in between, and it's always either red. They both always have to be like super curly and like.
I cannot tell you how many times like Indians. It's shocking how many like older Indian women will have short hair, and like I remember my hair was it's grown back to its length, but I got it cut earlier this year, and I remember I was telling people I was gonna get it cut, and so many women just came up. I remember they came up, grabbed my hair, and were like, "Don't cut it, you're so beautiful," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's dead at the end though." I didn't say that; they kind of scare me, but I was just like, "Oh, it's dead." Like I put on images. You put on this face to make it seem you're sweeter than you are, and I was just like, oh, but it's dead. I won't cut it too short. In reality, I was just like, I want to cut it because my hair's dead. Like, it's so annoying when people are like telling you don't do something because you're so pretty and you fit this lovely box, Oh my gosh.
And then hair products. For ethnic hair, the hair products are so expensive. And I mean, Target, I got so excited because I walked into a Target. It wasn't the Target we normally went to, but there was this whole section, like they expanded, and they had this whole half aisle that's all ethnic hair products now, and I was so happy. If you go to any other store, they have like this itty bitty section at the end of the aisle.
Bottles.
Yeah, and it's hard to find anything, and also it's, like I said, it's so expensive.
Yeah, it's like the pink tax, but like added on. Because
Yeah.
you want
It's
something
women-
ethnic as well.
Yeah.
You need to pay more because we have to make it special for you because you're just a minority.
Exactly.
And like in makeup companies and stuff like that, every time, this is kind of like off topic, but like makeup companies, they always have like the super like range with undertones for like white people, and then when it comes to like people with like deeper or darker skin, it's like 3 tones.
The color
And then they're all
it's-
wrong.
And
yeah,
it's
the
all
color
nude.
either like
Nude is supposed to be a skin color, but it's given this image of it's a classic white people's skin. And it's so annoying. And I remember it was like Band-Aids. Band-Aids. It's such a small thing,
Band-Aids.
but it's so big. Like, it's that they're just, like, I remember when I was younger, I would just elect to have the colorful ones because, like, what's the point? It's still going to show up on my skin. Like,
Well, and then I love how companies, we're just gonna get real intimate here, how they, like, nude bra and underwear.
Yeah.
Those things, I mean, they're practically white on me.
Yeah,
and they don't really,
same.
do they work for you at all? Do they look like your skin tone? Yeah,
I
I didn't
guess
think
I'm
so.
super pale and
Yeah.
they're
I
dark.
have really-
They're
no,
darker
I have
than
olive
my
skin.
and you
Like,
also,
I
you have like
agree.
yellow undertones,
I
so
have-
it would never work.
They're
Yeah,
darker
no.
than my skin.
Yeah,
I have
Those
yet to
work
know
for
a
you.
person
Yeah.
whose like actual like nude undergarments works because it's such like a image thing. Like
I have
this
a
is what
pink
everyone's
undertone. So
Yeah.
none of them actually.
And-
are.
And then yellow gray thing.
My
I don't go
color.
outside, so like
Neither do
my
I.
skin is like trying to be like golden brown, but I'm just like I don't like leaving the house.
Yeah, like my skin like originally has like really green undertones, but I go out and run, and so it becomes like yellow. I
Yeah.
guess it's
Yeah.
just, and like
Well, and,
Thanks.
and then nude tights. Because I never liked tights.
Like
as a
pantyhose.
small- Yeah,
Yeah.
pantyhose. And my mom would always make me wear the black ones, even though I just didn't like the look of tights, especially if I didn't have sleeves. But I really wanted to get this nude pair of tights, and she was like, okay, fine. And then when we got home and I tried them on, she was like, yeah, that looks ridiculous. You need to take those off. Like, they make you look dead.
Yeah, it's like
Like, she didn't say that, but I mean, it was...
you look strange.
I mean,
For
but
lack
they
of
really
better.
do. It looks like this whitewashed, gray, just disgusting mess. And it just... But I think there are some companies now, I think most of them are in the UK actually, that are starting to make
there's a
actual...
lot. UK. I know there's a
pantyhose.
company that has like Band-Aids that are different skin colors. So. Yeah.
Right.
oh.
And this all like fits in. You can go.
Oh, no.
Mine's a little
Well,
off topic.
This is kind of weird, but I went bra shopping in Austria.
Sorry to all the boys for making it
Yes.
uncomfortable, but guess what? Suck it up if we have to deal with your toxic masculinity. You can
Yeah.
deal with this conversation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Different conversation for another day.
Thank you.
That is
Just for, we should wear underwear, but that's a whole
Yeah.
other story.
That's the weirdest one.
Do guys have nude underwear?
What? Why are you all looking at me?
Because we're all facing this way, so I gotta turn.
Wait, but do guys? No, they don't.
I know.
I feel like theirs is just
all
covered in like
horrible.
paint.
Really weird.
What are
Yeah, they don't have to worry about their
Yeah.
undergarments matching this. Because none of their clothes are see-through, but don't get me started on that.
Oh my
Why
god.
do they make
see-through.
everything see-through?
I
Or
don't-
short and tight. Like some people, there's some things people don't need to see.
I have violin hips for days, and I hate wearing leggings. Like there's some anyway.
Okay, back to my awkward sentence.
Oh yeah, bra shopping in Austria.
There's actually like a range of like bras, and there was actually like one olive one, but it was like too big and stuff. And then there was like an actual like black one that like wasn't like disgusting, wasn't like dead undertones. But
Yeah.
it actually had like a pink kind of undertone.
Oh, okay.
And then there was like one that had like a yellow undertone, and it was actually like diverse. Loosely,
They tried. It's better than what they're doing
they
here.
attempted.
Yeah.
They tried very hard, and it was
It's
it
also
was pretty
like I was just to tie this whole conversation. It's like that ranking system she kind of talked about in her
Yeah.
blog. That like the lowest of the low is black people, and you get higher like with Hispanic, like maybe Indian. I don't know where it was thrown in there, but like Hispanics.
Oh yeah,
And
the,
then,
the Latinos
Yeah.
and Latinos were slightly higher than the blacks, but then you get the half caste is what they call them in the
Yeah.
book, and then you have the white people.
Yep.
Yeah. Because the closer, it's like the closer you are to being white, it's like, okay. So I remember, I think I wrote about this in one of our book club tasks. I don't remember. But it's that a lot of people will get offended, and I think it's predominant, not to generalize, but predominantly white people will get offended if you just categorize them as white.
Excuse
Yes.
me, I am a 36% Polish
Italian.
and
Yeah.
Italian. I am not white.
And it's really,
you
and
are.
I think they don't, and they think people of color who say stuff like that, but when you're just like, you're white, they think you're discrediting your background, and that's not what's happening. It's, as from experience, it's more so that you are fitting into this box again of what is okay. Like,
Yeah.
if you can pass as white, you're white. If
Yeah.
you can,
You know-
if you look black and maybe you're half white, if you look black, you're black. Like,
It's-
it's what people see you from the outside, that is what you are, because in survival.
Sorry, everyone's just making eye contact.
I'm trying to survive.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
It's like it's like almost this like survival instinct. Like okay, let's go to like Nazi Germany. If you were Jewish,
Yay!
if you were Jewish,
I'm
but
German,
you had
so-
blonde hair and blue eyes,
You were all right.
you
See, that's how my
and
family
that's, like,
survived.
yeah, that makes
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. None of them had red hair. They
But,
were
like,
all blonde
I
like
guess that's
you.
good.
I'm
though,
German.
I mean,
Oh,
But
really?
I'm German too,
no one
actually.
in my family was ever
I
a
am
Nazi.
not
I get
German.
asked. I get asked, "Are you a Nazi?"
that's
My mother has been asked.
No,
"Is anyone
that's a
in
big
your family a Nazi?"
When my-
And we're like, "No."
I
Not
actually,
everyone blonde and blue-eyed are a Nazi.
my mom gets, every time people find out, they're very ignorant to find out that, like, my mom's an immigrant. They're like, oh, where is she from? I'm like, Austria. And she's like, oh, so she's a Nazi? And I'm like, you know what? That would not work out very well.
Wasn't it like half your family died because they were Nazis and the other half died because they were gay or something? Like
Yes. Yes. That's not a joke. Okay.
Are we just gonna go around and talk about the most ignorant things?
We should
that have
back
been-
to the racism talk
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Back to hair. My hair, my mom has been straightening her hair for a long time, so now it's basically straight.
Yeah.
And mine, for business type stuff and more fancy attire, I guess, I have to straighten my hair because my ponytail,
It's
I
not
can't leave
classified as-
it.
yeah.
I can't leave it down because it's like.
It ain't classy.
Well, so yeah, and see the thing is I was very proud of myself last year for a semi. It was a big step because I was planning on straightening my hair just to put it up for
That's usually
a
what I
fancy thing, and then my mom was like, "Why? You can do just as much, maybe even more with your hair because it's it's easier to manipulate and get to put Anyways, but I ended up wearing my hair curly to semi, and I have
You look beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Like,
I didn't go to someone, but
Yeah.
like I'm
yeah. She looked great.
Mine looks great.
Thanks. Yeah, that was a big step though because that was the decision I think I made the day before just because I didn't feel like spending 5 hours straightening my hair. And it was a big, and I hate that it had to be such a big moment to wear my
Isn't
hair the
It's
way
like-
it grows out of my
I
head.
remember the first time after like 2 years of straightening my hair, because I don't wash my hair every day because it's really thick and it's like not good for your hair. Well, like
I
the
have
first,
to.
yeah, like it's like anyway. But so I don't have to straighten it. Probably I didn't straighten it every day like you did because it stays. But I remember like the first day I went to school, just like having blow dried my hair.
Mhm.
And like putting it up half. That's why I wear it half up a lot because it doesn't look as fluffy, even though fluffy hair is not, it's hair.
Yeah.
But my hair is very thick, so it's generally, I think maybe a little more wavy than your, like curly than your hair is when it's blow dried. But the problem is I have so much of it that when you brush it out, it gets so fluffy that
That's what
I get
mine does.
embarrassed
Yeah.
by it, which I shouldn't be, but that's why I wear it half up a lot, and that makes me feel fine. But I remember the first day I came to school like that, and I felt so good about myself. I was like, no one cares. I should stop caring. I should stop conforming to this random image I made up in my head that it's like, it's hair.
It's hair. Like, it's so stupid that's seen as unprofessional.
They are dead
if your
cells.
hair, it's dead cells growing out of your scalp. Like, it's so stupid that if your hair is not straight or like that super like over the top like perfect like cylindrical curl that's like super wide, then it's not professional and it sucks.
I hate how they use the word nappy. Because anything, my hair and then above, it's like, it's so like fix it. Fix your
What does
nappy
nappy
little
mean?
situation.
I
I think they mean it as like it looks gross kind of thing. Like it's untamed.
I love your hair.
It's not
It's
kempt.
wonderful.
Hair. Oh, thanks. I'm working on it. It's
It's
under
beautiful.
construction. And I can't, with a lot of my friends and stuff, I can't talk about the way I take care of my hair because they think it's gross, whether they mean it to come across that way or not. But I found one because I said it's very sensitive and everything, and I only wash it once a week. I can't wash it any more than that, or it like falls out and stuff.
Yeah.
And people are like,
I wish I
that's
could
so
do that, though.
disgusting. Like,
Right?
ugh.
That's why I never told people, like, when people are like, wow, do you straighten your hair every day? And I was like, no, I just don't wash it that much. And they'll be like, ew, why do you do that? Oh, that's why you have so much dandruff. And I don't even know why I have so much dandruff, guys. I changed to Head and Shoulders, and I still have dandruff.
Dandruff is actually a genetic thing.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense.
There's only so much that you can control with dandruff.
Exactly.
Like, sometimes it's from oily scalp, sometimes it's from too dry, sometimes it's just because you have genetics and crap.
And like with mine, I have to wash mine every day. Or
Does it get
really oily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I've
Same,
never been able to fix it with anything.
I hate, in movies, how people, especially with people of color, they kind of, wake up, and it's probably a longer process, definitely for you, but, in movies, you just see them, wake up, and then their hair is perfect, and it's just like in movies, even, with an appearance, just, getting a little off the topic of hair, but, in movies, how people of color are portrayed as constantly being the side character, that I remember that's, when I was younger, I saw myself as the side character. I was like, I have to be the smart one because that's who Indian people are in movies and TV shows. And I remember the first time I watched Quantico with Priyanka Chopra. It's not the best show. The first season was really good. And I remember watching it, I was like, she isn't just a side character, she's the main character. And that's even with Halloween costumes, there's a whole thing of I can never find something to wear, and people will just say who cares what people think, who cares if you want to be this character who's not traditionally Indian, it's who cares, just be it. And it's so annoying that I know I can do that, but it's the fact that people, no matter how many times people say it, people are still going to tell me who are you, even though I'm some really general. That's why when I was younger, I remember I stopped getting really into princesses and Disney because there was no one I could relate to. So I remember I started reading Warriors, which was my cat books.
Yeah.
They were my thing. They were my jam.
There's always one kid.
There's always the one.
There were three. It was my two best friends and I. Okay.
But I remember the horse girls, but all over again.
The horse girls.
Oh, you do not have a group of
We
those?
were the cat people.
Well, but
we ran around with our
horses.
Oh no, we
All
were.
throughout elementary school.
I love horses.
Me too. I'm not.
I was not.
No hate on them
way.
horses, but
With the really long ponytails and there was a very distinct group of them,
Yes,
which I hate
there were.
generalizing,
I
but at
don't
the same
think we
time,
had
that's
that
very
word.
nice.
Yeah, there are those. But I remember I loved those books, and I feel almost just this epiphany I've had right now is maybe it's because they weren't generalized by race at all, and that I could relate to them because they are cats. And even now, I could relate to them because it wasn't their outward appearance that was judging them, it was their actions and their personality.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not a furry. I have been called that. But David called me that. I was telling him that he was furry. Anyway.
No.
So also even now, I've been reading so many books, and they'll be the Stalking Jack the I don't think any of you guys have read it. Stalking Jack the Ripper by Karen Maniscalco, or The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer. The main characters are half Indian, and I remember reading that and being oh my god! And it's so sad that it was after my entire 15 years of living, I found 2 book characters that aren't in India, and they're Indian, and they're in one of them in Stalking Jack the Ripper. She's in 1800s London, and I remember because I love the 1800s, that time period.
Right.
Anyway, I remember being oh my gosh, and they'll mention how their mother's wearing saris and all this stuff, and I'm oh my, and I almost started crying of happiness, and it's so sad.
How I was at Target. Yeah.
Right? And it's so sad that it's just little things that people white people get every day that they're so used to, but it's so sad that people of color, this one character who isn't even full Indian, who's half Indian, made me so happy. There's this author. I've been so happy this year. This author, Roshni Chokshi, she's half Indian, but she writes a lot of, in her book, she has a lot of characters who are Indian, because I guess a lot of authors will bring in their personal experience. And just reading her characters, it makes me so happy because there's so many of them. This is really sad now, guys. Yeah. But it's the truth. Little things that white people get every day, for colored people, it's a big thing. The second Priyanka Chopra went into main Hollywood media, it was
a big thing.
Indian people everywhere. When I think there was a woman in New Jersey, did she win? She was Indian, she won Miss America. Mm-hmm. We were we freaked out. We were oh my gosh, it's here. You should have seen around the world. There were people in like Canada who were like, yes,
So
Miss
excited.
America.
Yeah.
But it's sad that the next day it kind of got more sad because people were like, how can a terrorist become Miss America?
Right. And then on the topic of movies,
Yeah.
I mean, not upset, but I'm just like, okay, really, you didn't do your research. But one, I've never seen, especially my hair. My skin tone may be represented because a lot of the acceptable characters for people of color are mixed.
Halle
Yeah.
Berry.
Yeah.
She has light skin though. Like,
Exactly. And then they go to bed, and if you don't sleep with silk or something on, it dries out your hair, and it's a really bad situation, right? And they wake up and they've got the perfect curls or
Yeah.
straight hair, not how it works.
yeah.
But also on the topic of your skin color characterizes, regardless of what race and ethnicity you are, who you are. It's why I get really annoyed because people get really confused when they look at me because I'm pretty light skinned for the most part. If I had a different undertone, I'd be much darker. But they'll look at me and they're like,
Like, you're exotic.
I wonder.
Exactly. Well, and I'll talk about this specific instance once we get to the racism episode
Yeah.
because.
But it's hard to ignore because appearance is so, like, racism is
It's
tied
so
directly to your
ingrained.
appearance.
Yes, and it gets so old, especially because people, they throw underhanded comments out there without realizing that they're not
hands
compliments.
down.
And they're like, I'm not going to actually touch your hair. But they're like, oh my gosh, it's so fluffy. And
I have actually petted my hair, and
It's
like,
so
soft
creepy,
and,
like, but people touch your hair. That's
yeah,
like,
and I get a lot of people like
don't like
up
it.
there near my scalp. Like they don't even stop at the bottom. They're
Yeah.
just like in there.
It's weird.
Yeah,
And they,
like,
like,
it
think it's
goes
so
like
natural.
that.
Where they're like, your hair. And I'm like no one's touched mine.
Like,
Like,
did I
people
give
touch my
permission
hair
to
that I
touch
know.
it?
Yeah,
Thank
and that's
you.
part of the reason sometimes my hair is oily because people touch it, and I'm like, do not.
Yeah, and they're like, do you? And then I mean, my friend group itself, our friend group, is very, for the most part, very white.
Yeah.
the water is very white.
Yeah, it's
It's
not
hard
as bad.
to
My mom
ignore.
grew up in Orlando.
Oh.
That's bad.
Yeah.
But
I
it's
know
hard to
that's
ignore
bad.
that, like, almost our school, it is predominantly white. I have
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I could count on
What, like 2 hands.
one finger. No, on 2
Yes.
fingers. How many, like, Indian people there are at
Mhm.
that school? I
Yeah.
could count on, like in total,
Okay.
how many colored people are at this school.
In less than a fourth.
Yes.
Yeah. There's like 3 Jews.
Jews.
Yeah, and I hate because I feel comfortable around my group of friends, but at the same time, when you take pictures and stuff, because certain lights don't work, when you go to take pictures and everything, it's almost kind of sad because you have to accommodate for the fact that you're darker, because everyone just assumes, like, when you're taking pictures with a group of ethnically diverse or not so ethnically diverse people, they accommodate to the lighting or everything for the greater population. And here, it's the white people, and which isn't a bad thing per
It's
se.
an ignorable fact that they're
Right.
a majority, but it's the fact that people will think it's the majority. They are everyone.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and as you said, people of color, I mean, we're a little bit more sensitive to those things, like the Band-Aids,
And
the
then
nude
people will
undergarments.
be like, oh, you're just so sensitive. Look how much you've gained. And it's like, it's not that we're not grateful for what we gained. It's that it's still not enough. The fact
Yeah.
that we can realize this is like one book character who is half Indian is a great achievement for me. That is sad.
Yeah, well, and then this goes with the racism talk as well, but my mother has literally apologized to me for giving me her dark skin. Yeah, we're just gonna go there now.
Oh, okay.
But
It's like, oh, I wish you took more after someone else.
yeah, my dad is very white, and because we've both had some instances where the racism and everything has been pretty. It's been in our face, and it's hard to ignore. And I'm sure you've probably had, and you don't want it to, but it digs at you a little
Yeah.
bit, especially since it's all tied to your appearance.
And people expect you also to be like, it's always so like, I don't know if you've experienced it, you might have, but like people expect you to be like
One
the
way.
girl, like you know everything about it, and you like people will be like, oh my gosh, you're in. Let's just, oh my god, people have gone up to me and be like, and it's like the weirdest thing. I don't think it's happened to any of you, but like people will come up to me and my family and they'll be like, oh my gosh, you're Indian. My mailman's Indian. My girlfriend's like ex-boyfriend's Indian, and it's like. What? Like, Do I go up to you and say hi?
You're
while
white.
all my teachers are white. Yes. Like, and it's so weird that people think it's so normal. Like, when they'll talk about the weirdest stuff, they'll be just like, "Oh my gosh, you're Indian. I love." It's also
in
yeah,
that
but it's just like they come up to me.
That's actually happened
All
to me,
people,
yeah.
and it's like, "Oh my gosh, you're Indian? What? I love Indian food. Like curry. Oh, it's so spicy." And I'm like, "Who are you people? I don't like socializing."
Oh, I've been with you in like a situation where you, like, we've been downtown and I remember this girl came up to you. It was like, "Oh, you're Indian? Do you know this person?"
Yes, I don't
Yeah,
know
I
every
know.
Indian person in this town.
I'm like-
they'll be like, "Do you know this like, do you know?" I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
We're at the half-hour mark, by the way.
Well,
What are we
okay.
talking about?
Well, and then I've had some instances where, I mean, I have some problems that a lot of my friends and people I hang out with don't
like
have.
they don't get
They don't understand, and they'll just be like, well, yeah, I know someone like that, and we go down that, whole that.
I
That.
talked about this in my book club task.
Ah.
That people, and it's really, I don't want to, like, I feel like people of color experience this, and I tried to give it a word, and it was really hard. I, was talking to you about it. It's that there is a line of, I dubbed this the overeager supporter.
Oh,
There are people
yeah.
that are, like, totally ignorant racist.
Cough,
Yes.
Kurt.
But then there's the overeager. Did you all read it? Or, like,
Yes.
my thing?
I read
The
most of
overeager?
it.
That it's basically someone who thinks they can, and it was so hard to type out to describe it, but who thinks they can, for them who don't know what the overeager supporter is, it is basically someone who is who thinks they get it. And like, I'm not saying it's bad for someone who is like white to understand my experiences, but it's like, and I was like, I don't want to sound mean, but there is kind of a line. I want you, it's like the difference between sympathize and empathize.
Yes.
I want you to sympathize with me. I don't want like pity, but I want you to like be
Understand.
understanding.
Yeah.
But I don't want you to think you get like you are experiencing it, because you're not. Like there'll be people who like, it's like those people who will say like, oh my gosh, we have to make everyone diverse in this one story. And I feel like it's also internet culture. People kind of expect themselves to have to be super diverse. They'll be like, oh, we have to make this person super diverse. And I want you to, but I also want you to do it realistically. Like, don't just make this character diverse to make them diverse and then make them like,
Have like a white person's life.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and see, and it really bothers me. Well, but I'll say that in a second. I honestly love when people ask honest questions, when they admit they don't understand, and when they're like, I feel you, I get it, but I'm never going
I'm
to
so
experience
Yeah.
it.
sorry
White people
that
never
you
experience
have
like
to-
anything a person of color experiences.
Yeah.
Like that. That's
Like,
I'm
there
so
are, like-
people in my family that have been married into my family that are either mixed or black or Indian. We have those people in our family, and some people, I am partially Indian.
really?
Not
Like
Indian,
Native American?
Native American.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I was
Partially.
so excited.
But I can't remember who. It's someone in our family. He does art, and he's amazing at art. But he is Native American, and he's kind of influenced me to understand that part. And since I'm white, most people think, "Oh, you don't understand it all."
Yeah.
And I'm
It's like the
"But I
reverse of
kinda
people not
do."
like people not understanding, and then people thinking you don't understand.
Mm-hmm. There's a
And, like,
line.
there
Right?
are,
Very-
Like I think
Yeah.
I talked. I don't even remember if it was in this episode or the last one, but there was a woman anyway. But like I was talking about like how people will put you in the box based on what you look like outwards, because it's almost kind of like a survival technique.
Yeah.
It's like that. Like people who say like, oh yeah, like I'm predominantly Native American, but it doesn't show up, they're gonna be like, nope, you're white. And it's also the reverse of that, of you saying like, oh, I'm 1/32nd Native American. I'm so diverse, I get it.
Yeah.
But you're like,
I don't look
no, you're probably
Native
Native
American
American
at
because
all.
your
There's
ancestor
a
raped
little
someone.
bit there. But,
Yeah.
I mean, and there are some black people in my family, and I've grown up with darker skinned people, so it's normal to me. So when I have friends
Which is
that have darker
great.
skin, I don't really care.
Yeah.
It doesn't
I
bother me at all.
It's like people will be
So-
hypersensitive to it. They're like, And it's also, it gets kind of annoying when people are like, are you okay?
Yeah.
I get it. This is like a really like kind of white setting. I'm so sorry. I'm like, I just want to eat my food.
Or when people say something that they know steps on toes, like, I know you understand.
Oh my God.
I didn't mean it the way it came out. And I was
So
like,
many-
okay, then why did you say it? And if that's the way you're thinking, regardless of whether you voice it out loud or not, you might as well, I don't want you to apologize if you don't mean it.
I was lucky for a lot of my friends in elementary school. My two best friends, they were very like accepting and understanding, and they were so open to different cultures. But I remember one of the new friends I made in middle school. She told me, I remember I was joking around, not you, but you know who I'm talking about. Not you. You would be so upset if I, but like this person, I remember I was joking and I was like, oh, what am I gonna be for Halloween? And my sister's friend, she had dressed up as a bottle of sriracha sauce, and I remember looking online. I was like, I really like Great Value soy sauce on a lot of stuff, so that's kind of a weird thing about me. And I was like, maybe I'll be soy sauce because I saw soy sauce t-shirts. And someone told me, oh, your skin, it's good because your skin color is already dark. And I remember my entire lunch table went dead quiet. And then I remember, I was like, I have to make this okay. I can't act offended. So I was like, it's okay. It's true. And it's really sad that I've had so many, especially with that friend.
Is it the same friend?
No, it's
Is it a different friend?
we can
We can talk about this later.
Yeah.
I probably know who you're talking about.
yeah. You should.
Yeah, I do. Never mind. I know
And
exactly
then
what you're
back
talking
to
about.
Hair. My hair is not the typical white woman.
Like Luscious
Very
Pantene.
lady, by the
Like
way.
Luscious Pantene
The Pantene
commercial hair.
commercials, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's all fake. Don't
Yeah,
ever
that's
reference
what-
that.
That's
I'm like, it's
Like
dead
the
cells.
wavy,
It's, oh my God.
and I'm like, I will never have that hair. And if I do that to my hair, it just falls right out. It doesn't stay unless I put like a can and a half of hairspray on it. It's bad.
yeah.
I
Same.
did that. I think that was for semi one time, and I had to put so much hairspray,
You know what's funny?
and it was bad. It was
I-
like gross.
Yeah, when I've straightened my hair and I try to put curl back in it, which is so jacked up. Like
Yeah.
when we
I feel I
can
can
go
do
into
it, but
that.
I have generally like my hair is really easy to straighten because it's not too like there's a certain way it wants to be. That's why I straightened it because I wanted to look pretty today. Anyway,
Well, but what's funny is when I go to put curl back, when I went to put curl back in it, it wouldn't hold, which I for some reason find very ironic, but also very.
Yeah,
fucking
it's
annoying.
really like-
it wants to do
wouldn't
a
hold the curl.
That's really
Yeah.
weird.
For a banquet kind of thing, I tried to curl my hair like my hair is like really weird. Like the front part's like the Pantene commercial curl, but the back is like yours.
Mine.
Yeah, and it's
bad.
and I was like curling the back, and
It's bad.
and I used like a can of hairspray, and like half an hour later, it was just all like back
is
to
my hair
normal.
the only hair that holds a curl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my hair will hold my regular curl, but it won't hold
I
me.
have to
My hair,
get it
it'll-
professionally done,
Yeah,
and
me
it is
too.
expensive to do
Yeah.
that. And sometimes to get it really straight, I have to get it professionally done.
Speaking of
To get it like way up here, it's really wavy. So
no one here can cut my hair. Speaking of
Really?
that, no. I have to go to Oklahoma City, and even then,
Where do you
the
go?
lady, Duncan Brothers, but even then, she jacked it up last time. But there's no
Oh,
no
yeah,
black
you were talking
hairstylist
about that.
there, and there's no one around here that can honestly cut my hair and do a good
Because
job.
they don't know what to do.
I
with
have,
it.
for me, since my hair curls in water,
There's not very many people.
especially mine's definitely not as severe as yours, but I remember I used to go to a cheaper place to get my hair cut, and they always, because normally people will wet your hair so it gets the straightest it can be, but my hair curls
Yeah.
in water. So I specifically straightened it for that day, and I remember they were like, we can't cut your hair dry. So I went to a much better hair place, which I love. They dyed my sister's hair. It's great. And
They do
they're
a great job.
Hello Gorgeous. They're great, especially the beauty school. It's really cheap because they're
Yep.
people.
They're-
They were
they're-
like, yeah, we'll just do a dry cut because they were like, that's unfair that you can't. It's
Exactly.
not hard. You have to adjust.
With
And
my
I
hair,
really
they have
appreciate
to straighten it to cut it.
that. Yeah.
It's
Just to
That would be a
get.
hot mess if we did that with mine.
like they have to wash it, they have to dry it, they have to straighten it, and then they cut it.
Yeah, I definitely. That's why I just straighten it at home to when I need to get it cut.
Yeah.
Like my mom used to cut my hair for me. That was so easy. Oh my god, because like you don't have to straighten it. She's just like it's when you're a child, anything
Doesn't
goes.
matter.
Yeah.
I miss being
Yeah.
a child because
Being
I
a
was.
child was great.
I used to the things I used to wear to school.
I was
You have to
apparently
cutest
best
bowl cut.
dress.
I had my
I
cutest
hated
bowl
it.
cut. My
Oh.
parents shaved, so it's like, I guess it's an Indian thing. I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff we do. They like shaved my head when I was a child, so I had like a weird. My hair is curly, so it's like a curl bowl cut thing. It was
Okay, that was
cute.
probably adorable though.
It was
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
really cute. I'm like, should I do it again? But I feel like I don't look up.
I would be
hair.
here for it.
I don't know.
We'd
probably
I
get
don't
really
have the
judged in
confidence.
school.
Yeah, I would get so judged.
would.
I don't have. I
Probably
don't.
everywhere.
Hey, but if you
here.
do it, maybe I can get some braids and we could just be like,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
you should
Yeah.
suck
Do
it
it.
standards and
Yeah.
just show up. Like,
Should we do this?
Oh, and I can wear my hair now.
I don't know if I can get braids anywhere though. I'll have to figure that out.
I will not wear my hair now.
I think there are people who do
Without
it
it
that
so
up like
sad.
this.
because it's bad.
It's so
I mean-
so do you know how to like make it like enhance the curl like with products and stuff?
I mean, right now,
Just
it's.
Let it loose.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
let it go.
yeah.
I feel like I shouldn't have straightened my hair for this. Like,
It's so
It's because I
pretty.
let it dry and I didn't brush it.
but
If
it's
I
so
brush
pretty.
it,
That's the thing. I feel like people don't get. Like, your curls, you're not supposed to brush them. Like,
Yeah,
I used
yeah.
to, with my hair like
I
naturally
can't not
curly.
do that because it gets so tangled.
Oh, I have to
and
not
it's
do
bad.
that. I mean, I can.
My
I can
mom
get it
has
out there.
very curly hair. So, and my dad, he has short hair. So, I mean, like, what does he know? So, and I remember my sister and I have generally the same type of hair. And I remember I went through this whole, like, identity crisis of, like, what do I do to maintain it? And I'd Google things, and generally when you say curly, people will go with natural hair. And that isn't my hair type.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I remember being like, how do I handle this? So I just resorted to straightening it. And I started doing it, and at first it made me happy. So then I was like, oh yay, and I get compliments on it. So then I was like, I have to do it every day. And then I remember it got to a point where I was like, I can't stop doing it because people will notice. And no one notices.
Exactly.
No one
And then I would
cares.
straighten my hair and like no one would notice. I mean, there would be
Literally.
a few people that would because I wear my hair in a ponytail every day because this is what it would be like.
Even like people will look at, like I remember with both of you, I remember like the last time you straightened, I was just like, oh, she straightened her hair. Let me do science now. Like, and
Yeah.
I feel like the last time I noticed you with straight hair was last year once in English because Lena was like, oh, did you straighten your hair today? Like,
Mhm.
I don't remember. No one cares. But
Yeah,
it's so
no one-
sad
yeah.
that people, that you just think in your head, everyone's gonna know. Everyone's gonna know if I don't do this, and it's just, yeah.
And like there was a point this year that I realized that I finally like my
Yeah,
hair.
yeah. And
Like
it's
I
not-
will wear it down if it looks good.
Yeah.
Good job.
I'm like,
Yeah.
it's really like great that like,
Anyway,
I
just
feel like
all my
our,
life.
yeah, it's all
Yeah,
around.
positivity.
I'm so like I feel like our generation has gotten much more accepting. So
Yeah.
it's really great that like I feel like people like us with our like hair identity crisis
Oh my
would
gosh.
have accept it like maybe in our 20s, but now it's great that like at age 15, 14, we're all like
accepting it already.
we're happy
Yeah.
and it's so great. Like
And
yeah.
like most people would say like you're white, you're fine, your hair whatever. But
It's
my
like-
hair is different.
Yeah, it's
The
so
majority
pretty.
of
I just
people.
wanna. I love it. I'm just
Yeah,
telling you
it's-
that.
yeah.
It is. I love your
So
hair.
pretty.
I just that's so like
People, like,
I
fry
get so
their hair
frustrated
at
when
your
people do that, but at the
Yeah.
same
Yeah,
time,
but-
it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's also dyeing hair. Like I
I've been
remember
asked
like
if I dyed my hair before because it was
Really?
so white, and I was like, no.
like dyeing hair for dark hair. I remember like thinking like you cannot because of brown skin. You can't dye it a full color because you're gonna look trashy. Like, cause like if I dyed like imagine if I dyed my whole head bright red. What do you think everyone at school would say? Wow.
Depending
it
on the
would've been
shade of
my
red, I
actual-
think it might.
Yeah,
be.
Yeah.
like, but I feel like constantly for like people with dark hair, they're told to get like natural colors, and maybe that's just like
Or
all
go blonde. Let's always
Yeah.
go blonde. You
No,
can't go
like-
anything
But
else. You
some-
gotta go
But some
blonde.
people with blonde hair, it doesn't
Doesn't-
work.
yeah.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
Like if I dyed my hair a darker color, it just
It would
wouldn't
throw me
right.
off.
Yeah.
I'm
Like-
actually like confused because I'm not the most
Really?
observant person, but I
Yeah.
just feel like
Uh-huh.
something's different.
Yeah, it would be weird, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't know what to do with myself.
To take this a little off topic from hair, even though the whole book, a big thing is hair.
Yeah.
Another thing I struggled with is my name, which is really
I love your
sad.
name though.
Thank
It's
you.
really pretty.
But
It's
I
so pretty.
remember, like, still, and I still struggle with it's that, like, my name is different. And I remember very vividly, like, last year, I hated my name because it's, like, it's different. And there's nothing wrong with being different. But it's, like, it's so different. Like, it's not normal. Like, I want to have a name like Sarah or something that people will get. Not a name that the substitute teacher has to say, "Oh God, please help me with this."
Aw.
Like,
that makes me
People
really
always
sad.
say
when
and it's
people
really
like-
sad.
And at least attend. It's not. It's letters.
And I'm like, and it's really sad. Like, it's a name. It's just a name, but it's so sad that I feel like even with African American names, people were like, why? I remember reading The Hate You Give, which was a top-notch book. Loved it. And I remember there's this whole short conversation in a car ride they were having, and one of the guys, his name's Chris, he's white. He was like, why do you guys have such strange names? And they were like, why do you have such a weird name? To us, Chris is a weird name. And I remember being like, it's true. Like, why am I trying so hard?
Like, my last name, everyone says it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's because
Same.
Irish.
Yeah.
And my mom's maiden name was German because my grandparents are German, obviously. I mean, my granddad has dark hair and I think he has green eyes, but he's.
I love green eyes.
So do I.
Yeah, so
But everyone, I would hate it when people would say my name wrong. Not my first name, but my last name. But now I'm kind of used to it because it's not a normal name
Yeah.
for anyone.
Well, see, and personally, I think Castiel's pretty straightforward. Like, you pronounce it exactly how it's
Yeah.
written.
Exactly.
I love the name
Yeah.
Cassie.
Yeah, that's like a
Yeah.
really bomb last name.
But people, I've run into this a lot. For some reason, they feel the need to add to it. It's not Castile with them. It's Castello or they say Castello, even though
There's
double
no
L is ya in Spanish, which is what they're trying. They're trying to go there with that. Like, it's literally just cast eel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. And they try to make them like, you look like a Castello. You don't look like a Castile. You look like a Castello.
Yeah, and it's playing off that thing you're exotic.
Yes, you have to have an exotic name.
I
But
know
it
I have
can't
a
be
white
too
last name,
but
but
Yeah, you can't be too exotic or else it's
Like
disgusting
my
or
name
whatever.
Yeah.
can't be Anusha. It has to be something really short and could be mistaken as American. Like Mina. Mina's a beautiful name.
It is.
And there's nothing wrong with it. But it's that people are like, that's an acceptable name because
Yeah.
it could also be American.
I mean,
So I'm like,
my
okay.
first name, I've come to like it. I mean, I
Yeah.
like it, but there's not very many people that are named Delaney, and it's not a very common name, and it's not very short.
It sounds
So-
classic.
Yeah, it sounds like a really
But people
classy name.
don't like things that are
Exactly.
Oh,
like my
different.
Yeah.
first, middle, and last name, so many letters. It's
Same.
awful.
Same.
Another thing
so off
that
topic.
I feel like
Yeah.
it's appearances, it works.
Yeah.
Another thing that I feel like with names, people will come up to you and be like, "Oh, you have such a beautiful name," but it's also with me, especially, I'll be like, "Are they just saying that because it's playing into the whole people will just randomly come up to you and be like, oh my god."
Yeah.
People in Walmart,
Walmart.
I have been grabbing bags, and this woman at the back of the line has been like, "Sir, I was with my dad. She's like, "Sir, excuse me. I just want to tell you, your daughter is beautiful." And I was like, "Is this a whole Indian she's pretty thing, or am I actually pretty?" It's such an identity
Yeah.
crisis of are people telling me I'm pretty because they like how my culture is rich with silks and spices, or are they telling me I'm pretty because I'm a pretty human being?
Just
And it's so sad that you have to take comments and is it this thing or is it this thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, half the
I
time
have
people
issues.
compliments feel so underhanded.
Yeah.
See, but I personally, this is kind of sad, but I've come to realize
This whole
That-
conversation's sad.
a little
Yeah.
bit, but when, especially recently, since my hair's a little bit healthier, and it generally looks better now.
Yeah.
But I get so happy when Black women compliment my hair. I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
thank you. I've been trying. You understand.
Yeah.
When Indian women, because a lot of Indian people have the same type of hair as I do, but I've never been surrounded by a lot of them, so I've never seen it. So I remember going to Oklahoma City, and it was at the temple because I'm Hindu and whatever.
Yeah.
And so I remember standing back, and I'm actually tall for an Indian woman. Okay,
Yeah.
I tower over them. It's great for my self-esteem. But I remember looking, and I just saw this sea of long, dark hair that's just like mine. And I was like, what am I trying to do? It's there. And, people will come up to me and be like, oh, you're so pretty in this sari. And it'll be I'm pretty because I fit. Not that, I'm pretty because of this. And
Right.
it feels good.
Sorry.
No, go
Just
ahead.
circling back to the name thing. I hated my name when I was a kid. Every single year when I went to school, I tried to change it to Catherine or something super American. Actually, that was like my first grade attempt. And then like Karen. Karen was the big one. Corinne. Yeah. Actually, and then like there's something else. And then I went by my like 3 different middle names.
Katerina, Maria. Oh no, Katerina, Maria, Christina, Ortiz-Lavry. Emily's in it. Emma.
Emma, yeah.
Why
And then
it just adds every year?
it's just stupid. And then Katerina. Everyone just calls me. All the subs are all just like, this is a
Katerina.
Yeah.
Katrina.
Katrina, and I'm like, that's Katerina. Kotorina. You're not close enough, lady. You're only here for 1 day.
Do you remember like that last
I'm
substitute?
so
we had in
young. I'm
English?
so done with
I remember I was just like, when she got to my name, I was like, yep, here. Because like, what's the point of trying?
They're just there
I'm
for
not
1
gonna,
day.
I'm literally not even gonna try to talk to you. I hate talking to new people. Like, what's the point?
Yeah, to sort of wrap things up.
Yeah.
It's quite amusing at the moment. I have a very horrible haircut because at first I was like, oh, the lady did a decent job, but then I noticed when I got home that, so I have this disgusting lampshade like rectangle layer thing that like cuts off right here and it doesn't pull back and it doesn't do anything like that. And it sticks out because she was like, oh, she's gonna wear it fro, but like only on the top half of her head. So I have this Dora, but not Dora, but it's only half of my hair. It's just this big rectangle chunk cut in a straight line across my head. But you know, people watching, your hair is beautiful, your skin's beautiful.
Love
You're
I love you. All right.
Positive.
That's wait, the end, guys.
Oh, do we end every time?
Yes.
Squid Man! We should have an episode dedicated just to explain this outro. Anyway. Squid Man! This is because I didn't get to sing the song in Miss Anderson's in our proposal. This is us